Imagine holding a piece of history in your hand, a small clay tablet no bigger than a modern mobile phone. This isn't just any old bit of pottery. It is, in fact, the world's very first recorded customer complaint. Discovered in the ancient city of Ur, in what is now modern-day Iraq, this remarkable object has survived for nearly 3,800 years. Dated to around 1750 BCE, it is a testament to the fact that some human experiences are truly timeless. The tablet is inscribed with cuneiform script, one of the earliest systems of writing, and it tells a story of commercial frustration that feels surprisingly familiar even today. It reminds us that behind the grand monuments and epic tales of ancient Mesopotamia were real people with everyday problems. The tablet was unearthed by Sir Leonard Woolley during his excavations of Ur between 1922 and 1934. It was found among the ruins of a house believed to belong to a merchant named Ea-nasir. This wasn't the only tablet found there. Archaeologists uncovered an entire archive of business and personal records, all meticulously inscribed in clay. But this particular tablet stood out. It wasn't a record of a successful transaction or a simple inventory list. It was a letter filled with raw emotion and righteous indignation. It was a direct message from a deeply unsatisfied customer, capturing a moment of conflict and providing a rare glimpse into the personal side of ancient commerce. The tablet itself is an incredible artifact. It is made from clay, a common writing material in Mesopotamia. A scribe would use a stylus, likely made from a reed, to press wedge-shaped marks into the soft clay. Once the message was complete, the tablet would be baked in the sun or fired in a kiln, making it hard and durable. This process is why so many of these records have survived the ravages of time, unlike papyrus or parchment from other ancient cultures. This specific tablet, now housed in the British Museum, serves as a powerful link to our distant past, preserving not just a transaction, but a human voice filled with genuine annoyance. The context of this complaint is the bustling world of Bronze Age trade. Ur was a major urban center, a hub of commerce and culture. Merchants like Ea-nasir were key figures in this society, dealing in goods that came from far and wide. Copper was a particularly valuable commodity, essential for making tools, weapons, and other important items. The trade routes were long and complex, stretching across deserts and seas. This tablet opens a window into that world, showing us that even thousands of years ago, business was built on relationships, promises, and the expectation of quality. When those expectations were not met, people felt the need to speak up, just as we do today. The author of this ancient complaint was a man named Nanni. While we don't know much about him beyond what is written on the tablet, his words paint a clear picture of a respectable and discerning individual. He was likely a person of some means, able to engage in significant trade deals involving valuable metals like copper. Nanni had sent his servant, a common practice for important transactions, to the merchant Ea-nasir to purchase high-quality copper ingots. This was not their first deal. The letter implies a pre-existing business relationship, which makes the subsequent betrayal feel even more personal and infuriating for Nanni. He had placed his trust in Ea-nasir, expecting a smooth and fair transaction. Ea-nasir, on the other hand, was the merchant at the center of this dispute. Based on the archives found at his home, he was a busy trader who dealt in a variety of goods, but his copper business seems to have been a frequent source of trouble. Nanni's complaint was not an isolated incident. Other tablets suggest Ea-nasir had a reputation for questionable business practices. He operated in a world where reputation was everything. In a society without formal credit scores or online review platforms, a merchant's name was his most valuable asset. Ea-nasir seems to have been walking a fine line, trying to maximize his profits, perhaps at the expense of his customer satisfaction. The core of Nanni's grievance was twofold: the terrible quality of the product and the appalling customer service he received. Nanni explicitly states that he had paid good money for fine copper ingots. Instead, what Ea-nasir delivered was substandard. Nanni writes, "What do you take me for that you treat somebody like me with such contempt?" He complains that the copper was not of the promised quality and was therefore unacceptable. To make matters worse, when Nanni sent his servant back to complain and reject the delivery, the servant was treated rudely and sent away empty-handed. This dismissal added a deep layer of personal insult to the financial injury. This entire episode took place against the backdrop of a sophisticated and regulated economy. The Mesopotamians had laws, like the famous Code of Hammurabi, that governed contracts and commercial dealings. there were established standards for weights, measures, and the quality of goods. Nanni wasn't just venting his frustration, he was appealing to a shared understanding of how business ought to be conducted. His complaint was a formal declaration that Ea-nasir had violated these established norms. He was asserting his rights as a customer, demanding either the quality goods he paid for or the return of his money, a demand that resonates powerfully with consumers in any era. The words etched into the clay by Nanni are a masterclass in controlled fury. He doesn't just state the facts, he builds a case against Ea-nasir with methodical precision. He begins by reminding the merchant of their agreement. When you came, you said to me as follows, I will give Gimel Sin, when he comes, fine quality copper ingots. Nanni establishes the promise that was made before detailing how it was broken. He then explains the poor quality of the goods delivered and describes the contemptuous treatment of his messenger. His tone is formal yet firm, conveying the seriousness of the offense and his own social standing. This was not a casual note, it was a formal letter of dispute. Nanni's demands are crystal clear. He declares that from that point forward he will not accept any copper from Ea-nasir that is not of fine quality. He insists on his right to personally inspect and select the ingots himself in the merchant's yard. This is a crucial point. He is revoking the trust he once placed in Ea-nasir and is now demanding direct oversight. Furthermore, he makes a powerful statement about his money. I shall from now on select and take the ingots individually in my own yard, and I shall exercise against you my right of rejection. He is essentially saying you've lost my trust, and now I will only do business on my own terms. The complaint also reveals the emotional toll of the bad deal. Nanni expresses a deep sense of personal disrespect. He asks Ea-nasir why he has been treated so poorly after sending his own messenger through enemy territory to collect the goods. This detail adds a layer of drama and risk to the story, highlighting the effort and danger involved in ancient trade. Nanni had gone to great lengths, and Ea-nasir's shabby treatment was a slap in the face. The complaint is not just about money or metal, it's about dignity, respect, and the fundamental principles of a fair exchange between two people. What is perhaps most striking is Nanni's final threat. He informs Ea-nasir that if he does not get his money back, he will take action. While he doesn't specify what that action will be, the implication is clear. In a close-knit business community, word of mouth was a powerful tool. Nanni could ruin Ea-nasir's reputation, warning other potential customers away. This tablet therefore acted as Nanni's permanent record of the dispute. By putting his complaint in writing, he was creating a durable piece of evidence, a 3,700-year-old one-star review that has, quite remarkably, outlived both Nanni and the merchant who wronged him. Nanni's clay tablet is far more than an ancient curiosity. It is a foundational document in the history of consumer rights. It serves as the earliest tangible evidence we have of a customer formally asserting their right to receive goods of a certain quality and to be treated with respect. In a world long before consumer protection agencies or online review sites, Nanni's complaint shows that the expectation of fairness in business is an ancient concept. It demonstrates that individuals understood they had recourse when a deal went sour. This tablet is proof that the basic principles of business ethics, honesty, quality, and accountability, were already in place nearly 4 millennia ago. The story also sheds light on the complexities of ancient trade networks. The mention of Nanni's messenger traveling through enemy territory reminds us that commerce was not always safe or easy. It involved risk, trust, and extensive logistics. Merchants had to manage supply chains that stretched across vast distances, and customers relied on the merchant's word. When that trust was broken, as it was by Ea-nasir, it threatened the delicate web of relationships that held the economy together. Nanni's complaint underscores the importance of reputation as the ultimate currency in a world built on personal connections and promises. The parallels between Nanni's experience and modern business are undeniable. Today, a customer who receives a faulty product or poor service might not inscribe a complaint on a clay tablet, but they will leave a one-star review online, post on social media, or contact a customer service department. The technology has changed, but the fundamental human reaction has not. Businesses still thrive or fail based on their reputation for quality and customer care. A string of negative reviews can be just as damaging to a modern company as word-of-mouth complaints were to a merchant in ancient Ur. Ea-nasir's name has become infamous, a historical byword for bad business. Ultimately, Nanni's 3,700-year-old rant is a powerful and humbling reminder that our modern concerns are deeply rooted in the human experience. The desire for fairness, the frustration of being cheated, and the need to hold others accountable are not new inventions. They are timeless aspects of how people interact and trade with one another. The tablet of Ea-nasir teaches us that good customer service has always been the cornerstone of sustainable business. Long before we had mission statements or corporate values, a man named Nanni knew exactly what he was owed: good copper and a little bit of respect. His voice, carried across the centuries on a small piece of clay, still speaks volumes.